So in this episode of Book of the Beast, we're going to be talking about the two new fortifications that are in White Dwarf 63, 11 April 2015, and are going to be available for purchase 1 week later. They're currently on pre-order. And we're talking about these, of course, from the Orc's perspective. So let's talk about the Promethium relay pipes. So, compositions up to 3 long and 3 short Promethium relay pipe sections. And they must be placed in connection with at least one other section. The other parts of the book of the magazine up here at front. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Section right here. There's a good picture of them. So they're totaling 33 inches in length. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what those sections are going to be all put together. So this is train type battlefield debris, fuel pipes. I looked in the rulebook. There's no actual definition of fuel pipes on there, unlike other train types. So I'm not sure why they put that in there. Oh, because the fuel pipe's right below it. Never mind. So a model and cover behind a fuel pipe is a fork cover save. However, each time a unit successfully makes its cover throw, on a roll of a 6, immediately roll a further d6. On a roll of 1, the shot has caused a minor explosion, and the unit that made the cover save immediately suffers an additional d6 strength 4 AP5 hits, with ignore cover and randomly allocated. So what that means, if you make your cover save, so you roll, like, so you have 4 wounds, you roll 2 dice, you make one of those cover saves as a 6, you roll another dice on a 1, then pipe bursts and you take some damage. So that could be bad, especially against orcs. But that's not. So that's kind of a downside to them. That's okay. Options may take items from the obstacles list in Stronghold Assault, so you can give them tank traps or tank a wire or something like that if you really wanted to. Special rules. Now, this is where it gets really good. Any flamer weapon, as defined in the Warhammer 40k rules, fired by a non-vehicle model within 2 inches of a Promethium relay pipe in the shooting phase can change its weapon type from assault to heavy, or from pistol to heavy. And if it does, it gains the torrent special rule. First time I read that, first thing I thought of, Burna Boys. And this relay pipe fortification is 40 points. For some reason, they put the heavy support symbol on it instead of the fortification symbol. So I don't know if that was a mistake or if it's actually going to take up a heavy support slot. So I'm assuming, though, because it is a train type, that it's supposed to be a fortification, not a heavy support. So what can we do with that? So they're heavy, so you can't move and shoot heavy weapons, torrent weapons. Normally, wouldn't be able to do this if you like move up to the relay pipes, or you could have a transport next to the relay pipes and try and torrent something. Normally with Burna Boys. There's a couple ways around that first. The other option, of course, is Mega Knobs. Mega Knobs with combi scorches. So you can move your Mega Knobs up, and if they take cover saves from that, then who cares about string 4 AP5 hits on Mega Knobs? They make their cover saves. And then they can, of course, they're only 1 shot per game, but 1 shot per game, they can torrent their combi scorches, and then still move assault afterwards if they really want to. If they can. If there's anything left to assault after 5 torrent heavy flamers. Because they have slow and purposeful. Slow and purposeful allows you to shoot heavy weapons after moving. So you can dump out of a battle wagon 2 inches in front of this guy and give you a nice 20-inch torrent range. However, you can also do that with Burna Boys. Because if you go to the slow and purposeful special rule in the main rulebook, which I should have had already. Slow and purposeful. Slow and purposeful. A unit contains at least 1 model with this special rule. So you put in a mega armored mech with your Burna Boys. Now suddenly the whole unit has slow and purposeful. The whole unit can shoot heavy weapons after they move. So that gives you a whole lot of really cool things to do. First of all, you can put 15 of them and a mech in a battle wagon. either deployed or even in reserve if you want to. Yeah. Or you can put a mech and 10 of them in the truck, because the burner boys can take a dedicated truck. And for something like that, I'd probably keep them in reserve. Put the Promethium pipe relay pipes right at your deployment zone edge, because in 7th edition rules, in the 6th edition rules, you would deploy the fortifications before anything else, but you could do your entire table half. 7th edition, you deploy your fortifications with your army, but they have to be in your deployment zone. So you put these right on the edge of your deployment zone. Say if you're playing Dawn of War, you take your burner boy truck in reserve. When it comes on, you can move 6, deploy 6. The burner boys will be right on top of the pipes, and now suddenly they have a torrent range. I actually do this with Battle Wagon too, but Battle Wagon's a lot more expensive. For this, you're just going to keep it in reserve. And suddenly they have a 20-inch torrent range from wherever they are. And of course, this is 33 inches. That's almost half the table on like a Dawn of War deployment. So that gives you a lot of room to play with on this. And again, they're only 40 points, and do give you cover safe. So if you're taking something like Ard Boys with Feel No Pain, like I do, combined, you can keep them behind the relay pipes for that cover save to start the game. And so they might take some hits with the heavy armor and Feel No Pain. You might lose some extra guys, but not enough to really matter, I don't think. And of course, you don't have to take the cover saves if you've got something that's less than AP4. So I think that's a really fun thing to do with these Promethean relay pipes. The kit's only $37, and if you can get a 20% discount, I think it's going to be a plastic kit. It doesn't say one way or the other, but I assume it's plastic. And so you can get that for $30. Or like most Orc players, you're probably going to wait till somebody else has it, get the dimensions of the pipes, and build your own. That's what I'm going to do. Because just get some wood dowel or some plastic tubing, and just orcify it up really good, and combine it with some burner boys in a truck, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It may not be that super effective, especially against armies that have a tendency to sit on the other side of the table, because there's limited to how far range these can go, but anything that's even vaguely aggressive is going to be a lot of fun. Pure and simple. It'll be a lot of fun to just dump 10 torrent flamers at the edge of your deployment zone to anything within range. So that's the Promethean relay pipes. I think they're going to be a really fun thing to do. I know I want to try it. So as soon as someone else gets the kit and they measure it, I'm going to start building my own relay pipe fortification, because I think give you a lot of building and conversion and scratch building opportunities. Or if you want to buy the actual kit and just convert it up somewhat, get rid of the Imperial stuff, and loot it basically. I mean, that's definitely an option for the price. It's not an expensive kit. But it will be so easy to just scratch build that I don't think you even have to worry about buying a kit. Of course, being scratch built, if you buy plastic tubing, you're probably not going to save a lot of money, because large plastic polystyrene tubes can actually be quite expensive, and you have to buy quite a bit of it. So I don't know if you're going to save a lot of money just scratch building it over buying the kit and looting it. So we'll have to wait and see, depending on what size the tubes are. Because again, if you're going to play the game, play any sort of competitive, or just to be fair, you should try and keep your scratch builds and conversions within reasonable scale of the actual stuff that's being used. Just to be fair. So that's the Promethean relay pipes. I think there's going to be a lot of fun things to do with these guys. The other new fortification came out with the new White Dwarf, which is the Plasma Obliterator, which is already sold out on the GW website. Again, it has the heavy support symbol. I'm almost positive it's supposed to be a fortification, but we'll see. Now this thing is really cool. It's like a bastion and a really awesome gun all in one. So it's a medium building with armor value 14. Medium buildings have 4 hull points and can hold 20 models. It has access points and fire points as the model. So if you're going to scratch build this, which I assume you're going to do, because 1, this is going to be way hard to loot with all this Imperial stuff on it, and 2, the model's already sold out, and 3, if it wasn't sold out, it's like an $80 kit. So there's 3 reasons why I probably wouldn't buy it and just scratch build my own. I mean, you could do this out of foam core as orcified really, really easily. The gun might be a little bit of a challenge to try and scratch build something, but that's fine. That'll be the hard part. Just you can come up with something. Because this thing is huge. I mean, it's probably going to be at least as big as the Bastion, if not a little bit bigger. So here's what makes the Plasma Obliterator so cool, is it comes with a massive plasma cannon. It's a 72-inch range, strength 7, AP2, primary weapon 1, massive blast. Gets hot. It's a strength, so that's a 7-inch plasma cannon blast. Can you say, oh wow? Sure, it is 230 points, but it gives you that massive gun, and you can put other stuff in here to shoot out of it, like say, putting in a Ludas inside the building with a mech, so the mech can fire the Plasma Obliterator cannon, and the Ludas can fire too. Or you put a unit of Grots in there, so now they're firing at, the cannon is firing at BS3. Put an objective behind the building, where then no one else can see it. And since it has such a long range, say if you're playing Vanguard Strike, you put it all the way back in the rear of your deployment zone, protecting an objective, and firing a 7-inch plasma cannon blast. This thing is awesome as far as the gun. I mean, it's very spendy, but I think it's worth the points. I think this is well balanced points-wise. The thing is, if you overheat, the unit embarked will just suffer D3 wounds. And the wounds are randomly allocated. So you do have to worry about that if you're playing Grots or something. But once they're in the building, they're fearless, so you might lose some models, but that doesn't matter if you do lose some while they're inside, especially if they're Grots. But yeah, just for that 7-inch plasma cannon, that would be great. I mean, I played with the battle cannons on the, what was that called? I can't remember what they're called. Vengeance weapon batteries. So I played with a pair of battle cannon Vengeance weapon batteries, which can only automated fire, and the automated fire really, really hurts those things. They're fun to play with because, you know, the threats of, you know, 2 battle cannons is fun, but they're not worth the points because you can't control them. This you can embark a unit and fire the cannon yourself. And this is going to be one of those things that if you take this, it's going to be a big, huge target on it. So any sort of long-range anti-tank weaponry is going to be firing at this bad boy as fast as possible. So keeping these things back in the back of your deployment zone, and then give that anti-tank weaponry something to think about. So take this with some battle wagons. So you know those las cannons and multi-guns will be going after this instead of going after your battle wagons. Kind of a rough. Do you shoot at the battle wagons Meganobs coming at you, or do you shoot at the 7-inch plasma cannon? So anyway, either way, both of these things are just absolutely fantastic for orcs. For in the game, so if the rules goes in the game for conversion, looting, and scratch building opportunities. Both of these are just absolutely fantastic choices for an orc army, and I'm really excited about both of them. I'm waiting next week for when the kits actually come out. People start posting, you know, size and shape and information like that from when they buy the kits, so I can start scratch building my own because I want one of each of these. Absolutely, these are going to be fantastic fun. And I said this will have a big giant target on it, and this will make your Burner Boys a lot more fun to play with, I think. So that's going to be it for this episode of Book of the Beast. I'll talk to you guys later.